he's been now for a few years, and he's like, they rocked it. It was the best it's ever been. He loved it.
It's a hit and miss.
It is definitely hit or miss.
It really is a hit and miss on the food. Because some people are like, no. Or,
And we had some hiccups, like the rice. That was hard.
If you came through the first part of the line, it was pretty good. Came through towards the end, it got a little bit cooler and.
My husband went to a restaurant afterwards.
He's
a pretty good pie, whatever.
Well, there you go. Got him out, they got him to go get something fun.
He was in the beginning of the line, and he just said the portions were a little small for him, but
Okay.
he said they had these little measuring cups.
Yeah.
So
we
he's
did.
like, and he knew why. I mean, obviously you
Yeah.
had to make sure it went through everyone, but.
I almost think like
So-
the food truck would be kind of cool because then maybe they might pay you guys to like
Yeah.
be involved and then people can pick and choose, like, I don't want to spend
Whatever
money
they
on that,
want.
spend money, yeah. That could, I
Well,
could see
I
that and that would be
almost
less
thought if we did
stress.
food trucks, we could have the line outside.
Ahead of time. You come early and get it.
the only question with the food trucks is they're not as reliable.
And Friday night,
They wanna go
make all
somewhere
their
else
money
where they
on
go
those little
somewhere.
food trucks,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I just did an event on Friday. I'm sorry, I'm talking.
Oh, no,
about-
go ahead.
So I did our baseball carnival, which was the exact same thing in a sense. So we had 2 food trucks, and they charged roughly around $8 for the hamburger hot dog truck, and about $12 for the queso amore truck. The whole night, we had it for a 3-hour event, we made $150 per truck.
Yeah.
So it wasn't much, so if you're looking at it for that, the complaint I got was, it's kind of a lot of money that I didn't wanna spend when I wanted to spend it on other things.
Yeah.
And the lines got long, so we had 2 trucks, which they wouldn't have done it if there was more than 2 trucks. And we
Okay.
had 500 families, but I would say I probably had 500 total. So I don't know how many people would be here.
Okay.
I haven't been, cause I was at my daughter and husband.
The sweetheart dance,
So
350.
if I had 500 families invited to this, and they said only as long as it's us 2, we won't do it more, I don't know that a food truck
Is gonna make us end up.
would come and do it for that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, the food was great, those who did eat it said they liked it, but I think my husband said he I asked him, I'm like, how long were you in line? He goes, probably 20 minutes.
Okay.
So of your event, is it 2.5 hours, 3 hours, how long is it?
It's almost 3 hours. 6 to 8:30, 2.5 hours.
I don't know how long the line is when you serve the food.
It's long. It's pretty long. It gets long.
So we did a survey.
But it wasn't
this
as
year.
bad this year as it
No.
had been in the past.
We did a survey this year, and sent it to everyone who registered. And the feedback was overwhelmingly, cater it and charge $10 more.
Oh, it was.
Like, and people on average were willing to pay $35 per couple to go. Like, there were people who were saying like 50 a couple, and people, almost nobody said, that they weren't willing to raise the price. It went from 30 to 50, with very few people at 50. And some people were crazy out of bounds. Not charging that much.
They donate it to us, so it's legal.
Yeah, take the cash, but, so they overwhelmingly said charge an additional fee and cater it. Like 80% of people.
Is there a way to eliminate the long lines? Like, if you did food trucks, what can you do to, or maybe cater it, but not necessarily?
I
If
had
you
questions
cater
about
it and you
lines.
set up 2 or 3 lines, then yeah, you can eliminate it. There's ways around it.
Yeah, I think if we restructured how we had it set up, we
Right.
could have got more through, it's just the way we had it set up.
Yeah.
Well, you know how they do the
Too big.
breakfast, the pancake breakfast for the volunteers, how they usually have double-sided
Yeah.
stations. You could set it up out there and do
We
the.
had 2
Yeah,
stations.
we were
serving
set up
food.
here, it's just the way, it was a little too linear in the way that we had it set up, so,
Yeah.
we'll just live and learn.
We can copy your carnival.
I think if we extend out to if we had the food out in the courtyard instead of everything up
basketball
here,
court?
we might be able to do that better.
And then do the dance area
I was
right
gonna say
here.
the
Well, it's
outside.
kinda cold,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
too
only
cold.
problem.
It's hit or miss on the
And
weather.
especially for the
We have to play by
kindergartners.
ear.
And you gotta be able to get the electricity.
The average wait time was about 15 minutes for anything. So
Which
it's not
wasn't that bad
horrible.
compared to last year.
No, last year when, I didn't
The
come this year,
lines
last year,
were
we waited
outrageous
45 minutes
last year.
from.
So our thought was drop
I
the
was there.
craft, because that's a couple bucks that we don't necessarily need.
Which craft
for
Big
necklaces and little
And the
hammer
little
spoons.
My daughter is
It's
obsessed
over
with
the
her
moon about the necklace.
Oh,
I
really?
know.
They all
Yeah,
like her
now
necklaces.
it's-
So
I know.
we could
It's like it was the second
they were
round on the
really,
necklaces.
yeah. So, but if we wanted catered, we could drop the necklace and do like a picture frame, which we can get on Oriental Trading for 20 cents. And then they get the and we have 2 photo booths, 2 full photo booths next year already reserved. So we could do the picture frame, we could do the double photo booth, and put those couple dollars toward catering, which I looked up catering and it was like, pasta, fettuccine, or red sauce with no meat was like $7, and add meat was $1 per person. Florentina's?
Is that, what's the place down in downtown Gilbert, mom and pop shop?
Lancers?
No. It downtown.
Sal's- oh, the other.
Sal's Pizza,
Oh,
and
Sal's
they've worked
Pizza.
out with us before, and they've donated whole
Yeah.
meals to the teachers and
So
stuff
that was
like
just
that.
that was from a friend who went to another sweetheart dance and everyone raved about the food.
Yeah.
So I was,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
night there were like 7 friends on Facebook saying, sweetheart dance, sweetheart dance, sweetheart dance, all at different schools all around the
Yeah.
valley. So I said, hey, what did you guys do?
That's a great idea.
So that just came as a recommendation, but their pricing was not out of the range of possibility if we bumped our price $10, because we're spending 4 per person, 4 or 5 per person now, so a few dollar bump could get it catered. Yeah.
I
So.
would be, I think raising it up, especially if you hear that from your survey response. I'm not a huge fan of the food trucks because they have to be so far removed and then that gets your group farther away. And I just know those lines start to,
How do you guys feel about just not having food at all? Having just desserts?
would you
Cause you
change the
went out
time?
anyway.
I didn't get to go.
No, but I'm saying, like,
But I
you're
did get
right.
pie brought back, so I was okay.
But they went out anyway.
Well, what time does
Yeah,
the
we
average
do that.
family in Neely eat? I mean, would they have time to eat before they came?
Well, what we would think is change it from 6:30 to 8:30
Instead,
instead of 6 to 8:30.
and then we could do desserts, and the price would stay the same or even go down.
Go down probably.
We could do desserts and little finger food.
Yeah.
Appetizer stuff, and that would come in at like $2 or $3 per person.
But,
So,
I mean, for me, I like that because you can make it like a date night with your kid if you want, you can go somewhere before and then do that. But
See, and
it
that's
just
the thing
depends.
is I'm not gonna have a girl. And she didn't wanna come anymore because she felt last year and the year before and now that everything is geared towards kindergarten through 2nd grade. And there's nothing there appealing for the kids that are 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, especially those 6th graders that, oh, this is my last time, and blah, 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 there's
So what
nothing
would she have wanted?
special. I have, yes.
Craft was definitely not catered towards the little girls.
Those necklaces were.
Well, as I said,
beautiful.
we didn't jump this time.
exactly happy about that.
Those tiny little beads.
No.
or that.
No, the
The
spoons.
hammer. Oh, the spoon.
thing
Yeah.
was cool.
It was
Those
my
are good
kids.
things about that, they had fun with that.
No, they did. But some of the dads were like, I'm done. I'm out of here. We heard some words.
That's why you gotta name your kids 5 letters or less. Then
Yes.
it's a lot.
Initials. They show me 5 letters, initials.
As I said, we didn't come this year because she
Yeah.
just figured it was gonna be the same old thing.
Well, we tried.
And we
Yeah.
had music, and the music was different because there was games. It was like dancing.
Activities.
And it was,
My husband had that comment, he's like, I loved watching all of those dads be so silly with their daughters, cause he
'Cause it
never
was-
asked.
And they
We don't
were
ever heard about it.
hilarious.
it was different than it had been in the past. In the past, it was just music, and this time, there was actual, like, I mean, the dads were challenging the girls, and it was like a dance-off, and it was fun.
The thing that worked really well was the waiting list. We had about 15 people on the waiting list, and we let everyone in. Because we had 4 or 5 cancellations on the, up through the Wednesday before. And before, we've always been like, you can have your money back, but we don't know who to call to say, here's a spot that's open. So it was so nice to like make that phone call, hey, did you still wanna go to the dance? Yes, please, thank you, my daughter's gonna be so happy. So it was really nice to have that waiting list.
Organization.
Yeah, the
Uh-huh.
online
That was
registration.
fabulous. It made so many
Online.
people happy.
Yes.
That
I
was
think
cool.
getting as many in, it's such a big thing, and I know this from the kinder through 2nd grader age, but they look forward to it so much. It would be interesting as our kids age, though, to find things that make it interesting. I know Kids Night Out, the sixth grade teachers allowed the
Yeah.
sixth graders to go into their classroom, and it was special, and they could
Yeah.
hang out. So maybe even at the Valentine's dance, it's something that we talk about and can come up with creative ideas to make it special for sixth
So
grade.
like the boys, okay, so, you know, the boys still are like left out.
Where's our night?
And when they did the one that we came to,
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah,
Yeah.
was with the last one that you guys did.
Yeah, year before.
They really liked that they got to go in one room and for a set time, play video games or some other game against another friend. And then they got to go over here and there's some table thing, and then the board games, they got to meet new people and everything. But as I said, we didn't come to that exercise one, I would not have come to that exercise one. You know, and then I know in the past they've done, they went to Stratus.
Yeah, they've done laser tag stuff. So one of the only question, or the question you had to answer before you could answer questions about Sweetheart Dance is, what would you like to see, if you were a kid and your school did a mother-son thing, because we were directing it towards the dads, what would you like to see done? Which a lot of them answered, I don't have a son. I'm like, but
They
you
don't
were a
answer.
boy, right?
Yeah.
You were.
Did I try to ask them that? I don't know.
I was like,
My
when you
mom.
were a kid, what would you have liked?
Come on.
I don't have a son. Okay, next, anyway, but we have a whole list of suggestions from them. And that friend who did the Sweetheart Dance with Floridinos, their dad's group does it. And I talked to my husband a little bit, and he said if he could find 4 or 5 dads, he would take on the Sweetheart Dance and do the planning for it. It's them,
For the
For the-
mother-son night.
no, he would take on the Sweetheart.
Oh.
The dads plan Sweetheart. And it would be pretty easy this year because we have a DJ for them and we have photo booth for them, so it'd really be decorations, theme, and food.
Well,
And let them choose what they wanna do, what they wanna do with their daughters.
Yeah.
Poll them and say, what do you like to do? So, if you talk to husbands, he's like, I have a list of a couple people I could call and tug on the ear, but I'm like, that would be wonderful timing wise, if we could go from planning Evening of the Arts to planning Carnival and not worry about Sweetheart in the middle of that.
or we could go from and just have Sweetheart Dance and mother-son night closer together, and we could just worry about mother-son, and we could have them worry about Sweetheart.
Yeah.
That would be really good.
So
That
if
would be
your
cool.
husband has ideas and likes to help
Her
Facebook
husband's
people.
forming a committee. Your husband's forming the committee.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
good.
She's in.
Is it your
So-
husband who wants to do it?
Mhm.
Oh, that's awesome.
I wore him down after all this time. I was volunteering, he's like, all right, I'll do something.
He's like, I'm already doing it anyway, I was like, what else to do?
I figured him and Terrence, like, just go for it. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Carnival, unless there's anything else pressing.
Oh, it made $2,500, Sweetheart. Profit.
Okay.
And how many couples did you end up allowing in, how many?
It was 325 kids. So, it was all 160 dads. 160 dads by the time we did.
Like
Yeah.
two, I think.
Yeah.
I wanna say, I think it was 162.
Yeah. Yeah. By the time we did all the stuff, so, yeah, 160 was it. That's been our average. So.
So roughly you made $8 a person, is that right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Carnival.
How did you guys think it went?
You wanna
How
know
did
how much
it
it made
go?
first?
Sure, let's hear how much it made.
After all the expenses were in and all the things we expect to get from silent auction, it's at 8,500 profit. So,
That's awesome.
yeah. It's a little lower than previous years because of silent auction stuff, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't see anybody, I don't know that it was fun, I didn't make it past those gates right there the whole night, not once. So it looked fun as people were walking out, though, they had big smiles.
I saw a lot more, you know, a lot less kids on the basketball court than in years past. Cause in years past, there were people in lines and droves on the basketball courts, and there weren't there this year.
We had the lines going the other direction.
No, but even still, there weren't that many. I mean, the lines were either moving really fast, or there really weren't that many kids that did individual games. They were all out in that field.
There were
doing
a
stuff.
lot of people out in that field, way more than there was last year.
I mean,
A
two
lot.
petting zoos. That poor turkey was getting mean.
Those animals are actually film animals.
Yeah.
So they are trained and they're specifically about, like, they're not
used
too
to
bad,
being-
but they're used to being manual.
Did you guys all go to the carnival?
My
I did.
family did, I did.
Yeah, you had other kids there.
My husband actually had one of the booths
Okay.
out there, and so, and there was only like 4 booths. There was us, there was the karate, the honey, and then the pie guys. And I kinda talked to all of them, cause I was, you know, teasing my children, but still trying to like talk. And the one thing that was like a census was like, there wasn't enough light
You know
was
what
a big
happened?
problem. And they felt like there wasn't a lot of foot traffic.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't notice that section till the end of the
Yeah,
night.
That's
a
true.
lot of
I didn't
people
know there was.
didn't even know we were
They were
there.
out in the field.
They were all out in the field,
Yeah.
which is funny, cause they had to go that way to get through to
But
the
they
field.
just like went behind
Oh, we went
to
by
the
the
petting
balloon
zoo
animals.
or, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so you went around this
Yeah.
way.
So many
Music
people
was,
went
that's where a
the
lot of
other
people
way.
were going through that. There was a gap between the balloon animals and the next one.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's what a lot of people did.
Okay.
I
so-
never saw that. See, we had it set up so
We,
that it
we
wouldn't.
intended to funnel them
We
towards you
intended
guys.
to funnel them all
That's
that way.
funny.
Caution tape down.
Yeah.
The funny
Yeah.
part, the funny
Nobody's
part
walking
behind
off
the
the lawn.
lights, I just forgot to ask to have the lights,
Turned on?
the actual, because all the other lights I had gone and turned on, I forgot to have the campus lights out there turned on. And that would have lit that area. That's
And a
what,
lot
our
of them
fault.
were like,
that was my
we would have
fault.
been fine if we had known there wasn't gonna be lights, we would have brought lights.
No, it would have been lit.
Yeah.
Had I gone over and had,
Look at the
that was
sunshine.
that was literally my fault.
Sometimes
Next time
we
you
feel
grab
dark for
it.
each other, but we don't always know where we're supposed to fill in for each other.
If you're ever in the dark, you can come find someone in a Neely shirt. We can
Okay.
turn on lights.
I know, sorry, cause that was totally my fault. I even made sure I had them go announce at the thing that we had vendors and that they were, you know, and like everybody, like go visit all the booths and everything like that. I didn't know that they were going around. I thought it was weird too. Cause I was like, as many people that were out in the field,
Yeah. I
I
hardly saw anybody. Like,
never saw them
It's
go.
because of the food and the tables. Like, I know
Kinda
people,
like
like, I was
blocked
trying not to
the-
walk between people trying to eat and get their food.
So
I was
maybe we
trying to
move the
avoid
vendors
that
as people
section,
naturally
not
go,
knowing about
instead of
that.
trying to make people go where they don't wanna go.
Well, and also,
I didn't know. That's where it
see
naturally
much,
comes
I didn't see much other than the karate because, okay, so you're sitting here and you're trying to negotiate around people that are trying to get their food and you don't wanna run into them, and then you go out into the field, and the way the karate set up, I had to go through the blue playground to get around them, and so I didn't go this way, you know,
I wonder
because.
if we put them in the middle of the field, where you can't
They
be
could
missed.
have.
Cause
Like,
they're, well,
right by the-
but the
right
pier,
by
are
the-
the pier,
Yeah,
It could've been by the
that's what my husband
lights.
was saying. He was like, we should have been like right, like have the games on the, or the rides on at the way back, and
The way
then like
back.
right in the middle have the booth.
but you know where the
We
parents
could've
are?
done.
We could do
We
that.
could have done, that wouldn't have been a problem at all.
But
Yeah.
We could have had you right by the light area,
Yeah.
like around
Yeah.
the light area, and
But
that
you-
would have been
But you know where the adults are at? 'Cause
right
you-
there, actually.
They're, okay, so you know where the
Because I saw
petting
'em.
zoo was? You know where the petting zoo was? There's a line of camp chairs.
I know.
Right out there. So that, right in front of them, between them and the games, is
I
where
know,
you
I
want
had to
the
ask them to
vendors.
move so I could turn the lights on, cause the minute I popped that engine, they all got blown with the
Yeah.
dust from the lights.
So, you know, I think we should tell our vendors, if you brought 5 camp chairs with you, you would have a captive audience the whole night. Of parents, I can just sit here, okay, I'll sit and listen to you, I'll talk.
And my husband, he's not a good planner. Like, I'll be honest.
But
He didn't
next
even
year,
think
for
about
sure.
bringing a table, so I
Yeah.
had to go buy a table.
Oh, no.
Could you also maybe like put, you know, like the cute little sign where it's the arrows?
Like the
Like
direction
once,
signs.
yeah,
Oh,
once
yeah.
you get out to the basketball area, maybe.
We need another one?
Have another sign, because
Okay.
like we walk always to the right, but not everyone, cause we're used
Yeah, I know,
to
we're
doing that.
used to
but
going that way.
Other people were going to the left.
Left.
So we were just assuming everyone's gonna go
Yeah.
the way that we typically go.
Which,
Yeah.
But if there's signs saying, check out our vendors, or, you know, this is where the
Okay.
games are, or the rides are, you know, just more cutesy,
Yes.
right? Cause
We can make
that little
more
sign
of
is
those.
perfect, but just have like step 2 out
Yes.
there to
I
say.
was surprised too how much there weren't a lot of vendors. Did did you guys?
We didn't book, we try not to book a bunch of vendors. I mean, we do that on purpose.
Yeah, cause you don't
So-
wanna be like,
You don't wanna be one of
Right.
20.
yeah, bombarded and you're like, I'm just at a function, I don't wanna be like.
I
Yeah.
mean, we
But-
try to make it so it's not,
Yeah, 5 or 6 is
Overwhelming.
about all we've
Yeah.
ever done.
we've not.
Is there a
tried-
way of intermixing the vendors with the carnival booths? Like,
We've done
that in the past,
Does
and
not
we've had
work.
lots of complaints.
Oh my gosh, they totally complain.
Cause they
The
can't, the
parents
kids
do,
are up
or
around
the kids
them.
go and do it without the
Not the
parents'
vendors,
knowledge.
the parents, yeah.
The parents
So
complain.
especially the karate ones where they're spinning and then they come with the ads and the kids are like, Mom, let's go get free karate, and they're like, we're not doing
It's like
karate, we already have
paperback
karate
with
lessons on Wednesday. So parent complaints on that end. Yeah. I mean, wouldn't be opposed to putting them near the booth, but not necessarily intermixed
right.
with the booth.
Well, by the rides, it seems,
I think by the rides
Yeah,
really
because
is the more
people
sensible
are
way.
looking.
Yeah.
Because
So
they're
when they
out
go
there,
talk,
they
the
were
kid
all
can
out
sit.
there, they were all chatting, I mean, it was kind of quite a gathering
Yeah.
place out there, so I think that would have been a way better place.
Bring 5 chairs and we'll knock $5 off the vendor
But I
price.
think they must have been they must have been going to the booths, because as far as like prizes and stuff like that, all of it was handed out. I just ran out of all the prizes, so at some point, somebody was going to them. It just, maybe they just never got to a point where it was queued up.
Are you talking
Yeah,
about the
the
vendor
lines.
booths?
No,
No,
the
carnival with
Well,
lines.
those were
yeah.
perfect for when you first came, before it got busy. We did
Mhm.
those and then ran out to the other
Yeah,
side.
but I don't think, I didn't ever see any huge lines on it, you're right, it was never.
What if you put like the vendor booths behind the big toy? Cause that space was like not really.
Behind the big toy is where the zoo is,
Yeah.
our petting zoo.
And then the parents were under the trees.
Yeah.
To do with the big zoo over there.
Over by Tetherball.
So on the sun,
Like the vendors like out there in the middle where people could.
I think
Because it was too close to the petting zoo.
Okay, so I think we've got some good ideas that we could draw out the 3 or 4 different ideas on how to set it up and where
Yeah.
to set it up. And maybe play with that and put that in for the new board that comes
Are
in.
you guys okay
Can
with
I
it still
just
being
share
March?
one other, oh, sorry.
Are you still good with it being early March versus early April?
I think the weather was perfect.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, the
perfect.
weather's
It's not
I
too
know it
hot,
runs
it's
into
not too
baseball.
It's always gonna be the same day as the baseball one,
I-
which it's just a handful of Neely kids, so for the school, it's really good.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Can you, what's the difference between profit that we've made over the, say, the last 5 years, having it, I know 2 years we've had it at the beginning, and 2 years at least we've had it at the end of March. Can you see what the difference is?
Has nothing to
I don't
do with
think that has
timing
anything to do with
whatsoever.
It's the amount
It's everything to do
auction
with
it is.
silent auction, and, corporate donations.
Yeah.
Our actual costs and, like, our wristbands cover the rides and lights. And then our ticket sales are the raffle and the food. And the food, it usually makes $1,000, $1,500. We make a few $100s off of the rides and the wristbands, those are pretty much at cost. The rest is the raffle. So on years that we have iPads and barbecues, huge profit. Years where we have smaller baskets that are worth $150, I actually kept the tickets, I'm gonna have student council count them out for us. But we're not getting, I don't see very many people sitting at the cashier's table all night. Almost nobody came back out and bought more tickets. Usually there's people coming back out, oh my gosh, I saw this amazing basket, I need 20 more tickets, I'm just gonna, that didn't happen, the baskets were not amazing enough, and we didn't have Southwest Airlines tickets.
We didn't have Disneyland.
We didn't have Disneyland, and that's almost $1,000 in profit.
Disneyland
instantly.
stopped giving.
No, they started again this year.
Yeah, but,
Do you want me to, next
Yeah.
year, spring break is at the same time, so like, it would be, if we followed our pattern, the carnival would be that Friday, March 1st, and then Friday the 8th is a half day, and then we have spring break. Going into the end of March, there's Easter's farther back next year, so it's not
That
until,
makes a huge difference.
till
too.
April 21st.
Yeah, 'cause
so we could do it the week after
Yeah.
carnival, after break?
After break.
The week after or 2 weeks, well,
Cause
The
you
week
have,
after
you have,
break.
if you're talking about Fridays in March, it's the 22nd or the 29th, because you don't have,
Till the
the spring
29th,
holiday
right?
until April 19th.
and the 29th won't interfere with AZ Merit starting?
I can't guarantee that.
I was
That's-
gonna say
that's
the
given to us by the
22nd.
state,
Yeah.
but if I can make assumptions based on
April.
historically, they've always done April.
I would say the 22nd, I know it's the week after break, but I feel like if we went to the 29th, we're risking weather, and the 22nd.
Well, can I caution you on the 22nd though, in that they're adding back in, so spring break
All
is
those
really a
Oh,
week and
a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
you're only
then-
gonna have.
Then the
4 days.
19th, then you would only have 4 days. You lose that Monday, cause their spring
Yeah.
break is the 18th, and the students come back on the 19th.
I would think about the
29th.
So the 29th, if you're gonna move it to the end of the month, you
Okay,
either
so
make
it's either the 1st or the
first or the
29th.
29th.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it.
I'm gonna look at the weather on the 29th.
Yeah.
Do I wanna do it? No.
Yeah, and we got lucky because like the week before it was freezing.
Yeah.
So it's so hit or miss.
One thing, I'm so into sports with our family, but winter sports ends that weekend and spring sports begin that Saturday afterwards. So if you're kind of looking at the availability of families who are all involved in like I-9 sports or Little League sports, right now what you have is actually a very perfect date.
Okay.
Because you'll get most participation, I think, that's my opinion.
On the first?
On the first, because all winter sports are
Over at the
ended,
last of February.
and the winter or spring starting.
The Saturday.
are
And the
day.
weather is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the weather is nice.
That Saturday, March 2nd, will be the first day of like Little League in Gilbert Chandler area.
Okay.
I do have to say though that Friday was really busy. We had 3 carnivals that night.
Oh, you
So,
did?
I mean, cause I know other schools were doing the same.
Yeah, in our district,
Yeah.
there
Yeah.
was 4 that I know of that had carnival on the same night.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I know we
And
had
and we had a discussion about this last week at GCA about how they need to be more cognizant of what's going on when they set dates in the elementary feeder schools, because like tonight, like that Friday night, you know, they're splitting the families. I said, I'm taking my children to the carnival because I'm not gonna just drop my daughter off at the barbecue bingo or whatever function you decide to have that night. I'm like, where's your family gonna go? Where all the family is gonna go and have fun at the carnival? Or I'm gonna go and make everybody suffer, you know, half my family suffer to go to this barbecue bingo and sit there and play bingo.
Well, you know what, Desert Ridge Junior, and don't quote me on the elementary school, I wanna say Canyon Rim, so please don't quote me. One of the east schools, maybe Meridian, I don't know, they do a joint carnival, and it is like carnival rides, carnival, because they have the ginormous parking lot.
Well-
And so they're able to set up on a solid ground, where like we have all this space, so.
Yeah.
Wanna do
The
a joint-
district
You-
has rules about that.
Yeah.
You could
I don't know
kick
where they're
block
getting it
off,
from, 'cause you didn't hear that from me.
block off part of the street though, because we have a.
You could get permission from the city,
Yeah.
and just
if you
block the
wanted
street.
Those kind of rides.
Maybe the limitation is because it's field and not.
Street.
Street.
No, it's the
Stop.
insurance. The insurance won't cover it, is what I was told.
But maybe the insurance won't cover it because it's field, not street.
I know like
It
their
can be
concern
over
is the
11
rock
feet tall.
wall.
No,
Yeah.
they
Can't even
they
be-
said it can't
We've
be
had a
anything
rock
over
wall
11.
before.
Yeah, they instituted new rules a couple
It
years
says
ago.
no rock walls,
Yeah.
no
Rock
bounce
wall.
houses, and nothing over 11 feet tall.
We have bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those weren't.
They're no,
Those
they're,
are down
they're obstacle courses.
Houses, well, I understand that.
They are obstacle.
You can have blow-ups,
courses.
then
Yeah.
obstacle courses. That's fine.
Inflatable obstacle courses.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
No
my
place
school
where
was
you
one of
going,
them, and someone
charge.
broke their leg.
I think those are more
In
fun
half.
because otherwise
Yeah.
you bump heads.
Well, yeah, cause all it is a bunch of bodies slamming into each other in there.
But
You can't.
Alright, if nobody has anything else to say about carnival, we'll move on to Kids Night Out, upcoming events.
Oh, I did wanna add
Thank you for the food.
Yes, thank you so much, Becky, for the food. That was very nice.
that, I was talking to one of the moms at the bus stop this week, and she made a really nice comment because school's a struggle for her child. And she mentioned how, you know, when we do have carnival and we do have Kids Night Out, that it makes school a fun place for her kid to come. And her kids had just such a great time, and it just made me feel so good to get that thanks, you know, of, you know, why it's important that we're here doing this, so. I did wanna pass that.
It's very sweet.
That was my warm fuzzy.
Okay, so Kids Night Out, we have, I talked to a guy, and he said he would come and do an astronomy lesson with the kids out on the field.
And he can do it with 300 kids?
Well, I said we would do it in shifts.
Okay.
What guy?
His name is
till
just a
9?
teacher.
Oh.
No, he's just a friend, but he has like 3 telescopes and
What's
he
his
knows
first
about
name?
stuff. Larry.
But does it need to be completely dark?
Well, I think we're gonna do it out on the grass field, and if we just don't turn on any of those lights, I think we should be okay.
But what time is sunset? Isn't
Yeah,
that
April
far
6th.
into April?
It'll be 30 minutes.
April 27th, so 6-ish.
Yeah, so it would be
Oh,
30
no,
minutes.
April, no, it's
It'll
gonna
stay
be
lighter.
7.
Close to 7.
Yeah, so
Seven.
you're gonna be
And that's what I was
longer.
thinking.
So that would
It
run
would be
into
30-minute shifts, starting at 7, so it'd be 7 and so 30, then 8. And we would do 3 shifts of kids that would come out here.
Do that instead of the movie?
I'm almost thinking drop the movie because so many kids are just
Yeah,
not
we
watching
don't
it. It's
like
just so much
And we
crowd
had
control.
way more participation when we have this be an educational night, more than just like a drop your kid off and babysit night. Cause I don't think really families are really interested in babysitting. They want their kids to learn and have fun at the same time, so.
I think a
Some
shorter
sort of-
movie would be good or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
like a 45-minute fun cartoon.
4:45.
An hour.
Like a,
Bugs Bunny or something.
Yeah, something.
Sunsets at 7:07.
Yeah.
Roll Hunters, that's the one my kids want to.
I like the idea of having it for the intermediate, like
Yeah.
4 through 6. I don't know that the littles would be interested in it though. I think
I
we
don't
should
think
still
so
have a
either.
movie
I
for
think you
them.
might also have some broken telescopes.
K3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Or
we
we
should
don't have
still
to
do
do
a
it all,
movie for
that's
them.
okay too.
That, I like the idea of the older kids for it a lot, and shifting them 4th, 5th, and 6th, half hour each is plenty for all of them to get through. And then K3, that takes that crowd control to like
Yeah, we're taking 4th and
50,
5th out of it.
yeah, we're taking 50% of the, or I mean 40% of the kids out of there.
Well, I have another friend who does balloons, so I was thinking we could have a balloon lady come and do balloons.
I
the little ones?
also have an incredible magician who's performed at the Constitution Fair night, and he also performed at our Cub Scout night the other week. And he definitely
Maybe we
thrills
do
a
that
crowd
instead
of.
the movie.
We have a juggler that's a parent, I'm
Yeah.
totally throwing him under the bus.
Yeah.
You should throw the teacher under the bus for those, that
See,
stuff too,
I almost
Mr.
wonder.
Yeah.
But, and
So
somebody
it's
had
supposed
mentioned a
to do
stem cell or
STEM,
sorry, sorry.
STEM night. So,
STEM night.
yeah, and that's, I think, where we're going with the telescopes. I think, because we don't do assemblies, sometimes the kids miss out on things like a magician or a firefighter or things like that, and maybe we can incorporate, and like, we had the animal guy come, that was a huge draw.
That was a huge draw.
So many parents are like, oh my gosh, cool, wild animals, yeah, we're in.
My kids
So I'm
still
My
don't
kids
know.
talked about it last night, about the snakes.
So I think if we pull in some of those things that are traditional assembly things, because we don't do them here,
I think the fire
maybe we
truck
could
would
pull
be
them in.
amazing.
I
Over
have
the
a
next few
question on the
kids
fire
now.
truck, can we talk one of the dads into doing the fire truck thing like the one dad used to do
Please
for
spray it
the
over
6th
the fence.
graders? Cause right now, right now in 6th grade, we have, I think, 3 children that have dads that are firefighters that
Yep.
work right down here at
Yes,
this
yeah.
station.
There are actually, but that has, I think that's a field day thing.
That is on field day.
It's on
and
field
it's
day, and they,
They
for the
have to be
6th
able to
graders.
leave if they get a call.
Yeah, so they just park on
Right.
Neely and
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, they
Spray it
park
over
on
the
the
fence.
far side of Neely because it's a high pressure hose, and the kids like stand there and they just nail them with it.
Well,
It's hysterical and they love everything.
I
about
was
it.
told it goes up and then over.
Well, it does,
Nice
but-
waterfall.
They still nail them.
Yeah.
But if they get on the fence, if they see them climbing on the fence, it. No, they had a blast with it, and we just, because we lost that parent 2 years ago,
They haven't come back.
they haven't come back. You know, so it's like, right now we have,
Yeah, we didn't.
I'm sorry, I keep calling him Tony Stark, maturin'. It's like, I don't know, it's just a thing the kids think, you know, he's a superhero, he's a fireman, so they think Tony Stark, Tony Maturin, you know, so they just call him Tony Stark. And then, who's the other one?
Rick Rush.
Rick Rush, but he's out in Tempe, isn't he,
Okay.
still?
I think so.
And then there's, Katie's dad, what's Katie's?
Mow it?
Uh,
Mow it or?
Or not Kate, Kate, Katie, it might be Hodges, I don't know. I know he hurt his back last year, but he's a firefighter too. So-
And Sigmund's
Anyway.
husband is
Sigmund's not married, you mean Jeff, is that his name? All the kids said, we got to meet, is that his name? Is it Jeff or John? Yes, they got to meet Jeff, the Jeff.
Anyway, back to kids night out. What do you guys think? Telescope interesting for your older kids?
Well, I think the movie is good for the younger. I still think you need.
Balloons and
something to-
movie for the younger one?
The young, something.
Yeah.
Balloons and
And a shorter movie, like an hour and 15-minute movie.
Or we could do the
Instead.
magician guy.
I think the magician thing would be,
Magician's awesome.
yeah, I think the kids would
Terrific.
love that.
What if we do the magician and the balloon guy as rotations, as
Yeah.
group
Yeah.
activity rotations? Still do the movie for the littles, have the telescope out there in the field for the intermediate kids.
Yes.
I like that.
The sun is supposed to set at 7:08 p.m.
And so that'd be just about right, finish that
Half
third
hour
rotation and then send them out in the.
So they'd
7:30
get playground
before it
time,
starts.
they'd get magician, they'd get balloons. And honestly, sixth graders still, they get swords, they just beat each other up with swords instead.
Well, sixth grade does their own thing though, so it'd be,
Yes.
Yeah, so fifth
yeah,
grade.
so we don't worry about them with the rotations.
So fifth grade.
Yeah, but they
fifth
would,
graders still
they
play
would
with
want to
balloons.
be in the rotation for stuff like that.
They
I'll be
might.
honest.
They
Magician-
The only reason
enjoy,
why they go in and they play video games and do whatever in there is because they're bored with the stuff that we've
With the
been
book
doing.
and the.
they came out for the animals and
Oh,
they
they
did.
loved it.
See, they're flexible though, because we could look at where our lowest registration is
Yeah,
and just feed
Mix
them
them
in
in.
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
That might work really nicely, to
That would be
have
good.
something totally different for them.
Yeah.
Magician for half an hour is just about the right amount of time. Balloon animals, I don't know if you can do those in half an hour. What if,
Maybe they could make some in advance so that everybody,
Have
the
a bunch of
littles.
flowers,
get-
a bunch of
lady, I was
Yeah.
watching
swords.
her, she can make
A bunch
it
of
in,
dogs.
like,
but you're talking
2
about
seconds.
50 kids,
Yeah.
50, 60
Right.
kids, so even at a minute
No.
each, you don't have enough
You,
time.
you don't have
So-
enough time. You need to have them made.
Swords,
You have-
flowers, dogs.
Yeah, things that the
You
kids
would
always
have to
ask
have, like,
for.
20 of
Six
each.
or seven.
Yeah.
You know what, there's a
Balloon.
parent who said that he would come do
But we have to have a couple
animals,
boxes.
yeah.
The
Yeah,
magician,
you
the
can have-
magician does them too.
Talking
The
too about
magician does
doing
them.
bounce you,
Having Bounce you come and do.
Oh,
balloons, or
Yeah.
face painting, cause they do that for free.
Didn't they come in?
They
did
did
they
for
did
the
the
carnival.
carnival,
For the carnival, yeah, the bounce you. I don't like them doing the face painting.
because they'll paint anything?
Well, no, they just really, it really wasn't that great.
No, but we're not paying them.
I know.
Well, we're not paying them.
That, they also use that, the cheaper, face paint makeup. I say cheaper because it's what it's made out of, and the red is more
Does
likely.
it not come off?
It
Wait,
doesn't-
are you
Oh,
talking
no.
about for carnival?
Yeah, the red paint, no,
Oh, that wasn't about you, this.
No,
it was just-
last year. We had, didn't Bounce You came in last year or the year before for carnival?
Not for face painting, I don't
Not
think.
for face
No.
painting. They've only
That's
done
always been
balloons.
us.
Oh, they like the balloons?
Yeah,
Okay.
we do.
That's us.
We do. Anyway, so if we could get a couple balloon people, and we could get the magician to do it, then we could have those 2 rotations plus a rotation outside on the playground, right? No, that's before they eat.
Yeah, that's before they eat, we'd have to have something. in the
There
front.
There's
couldn't be
gonna be a
any
third
kids
one.
out there anymore.
Are we putting a
Yeah.
cap on it? Because remember fall kids night out was really.
It got huge, yeah. What, same size as Sweetheart, 300 kids? Do we feel about
Yeah, I
that,
think.
300 or
Wasn't it-
350?
Does that?
How many
sound
did you
right?
have in the
Push it
fall?
too high,
Yeah,
350 or more?
350 is too much.
300?
It's too much.
275?
300 is doable, 300 is doable.
275 with a waiting list?
I think
And
it's
then we
easier
can let
managed
people
if
in
we
on
do
the
it
wait list if
online,
we need
too.
to.
If, yeah,
And I can do it online only, like we did Sweetheart.
yeah.
So we don't have to worry about paper forms flooding in the last minute.
That's the worst.
Yeah. Okay.
It's nice to have a couple of days that this is what you've got to be able to.
Yes, because we need more name
plan,
tags.
adjust, tweak.
We need more name tags and we need more teachers with lists than we had in the fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright,
Yeah.
clothing drive. Are you accepting stuffed animals?
Yes,
Okay, I thought.
that got answered too.
Okay.
Who is this going to, all the stuff that we're doing?
Sunshine Acres.
Well, yeah, we donated to Sunshine Acres. Well, we,
It's a children's home.
It's a children's
Is
home
it? Okay.
in Gilbert.
And they run a thrift store.
And a boutique, and they go through, but they go through everything first, and if they need anything for the children, they'll pull it out and they'll use it for the children. But what we also do is, okay, they only pay us for certain things, but we started last year, we always go through everything because we have to sort it in trash bags and boxes, and throw out the trash, but, we started last year, there's a mother, who does these garage sales back-to-back, like 4 garage sales back-to-back. And a lot of the stuff that we know that we can make money off of, or that they're not gonna pay us anything for, but they're gonna haul it away, and
Like
she
the
can sell
furniture.
it, like the furniture, lamps, bigger things, things that aren't 18 by 18 by 18 or whatever. She'll sell in the garage sale and cut us a check.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did quite a bit last year.
Yeah, and you know, but the thing is, what we have to do is we have to remember that, well, maybe we need to do something for her. Meaning, like last year, it just happened that somebody donated, one of those really nice clothing stands that you probably would have spent $25 on, and I'm like, okay, it's yours. You know,
So she can hang
because
her stuff in the
she
future,
can hang
yeah.
our stuff and their stuff, and she doesn't have to take anything out of pocket, and it's our thank you for her helping us by doing that.
So we earned $650 in the fall off of it.
Yeah,
off the
and that
clothing
was
drive.
low
But no,
participation.
Well, no, that's about 750 to 400 and 400 are what we
Right.
had.
Did we say what we made off of the garage sale that she did?
150?
It's on my computer, but it's,
I think it was
It was 150, cause we were talking about
Yeah.
buying a small tree.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. All right, so Fly Drive is March 26th to the 29th. And school kids, what were you gonna put down?
Kim's got that, so she's already contacted them. We have a sample in here, and we do it at orientation, when Mrs. Green does orientation. So
Is it the
those-
same?
it's back
It's
to
the
the
same
name
as-
brand ones.
Yes, it's back to the good one, the one everybody likes.
So teachers are already working on their list and they'll be out soon. I think Allison was even working on it before Kim contacted her. She's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, here, thank you. So Kim Brass, who works in the office, it's,
So trying to streamline 6th grade, since they
yeah,
don't need the duplicate,
yeah, they,
all 3 teachers don't need the same thing.
yeah. So they're just working out the last kinks and then they'll get in there and then it'll be online orders through the company or paper forms for us.
Okay. Teacher and assistant of the year, Green Nancy.
The district is doing the, Gilbert Public Schools Teacher of the Year again this year, and they're adding in, assistant, like the, support staff of the year. And our, teacher selected this year was, Mrs. Guthrie. For those of you who don't know, she's one of our kindergarten teachers. And the, support staff of the year is Miss Allison, my administrative assistant. Part of it is a dinner, and, the district is asking for support in doing a, centerpiece for the 2 people going, that it's, $100 to $150 max per item. And then like what they were doing last year, and like what, PTO did last year was the gift basket became like gift cards. It was our teacher of the year saw her favorite things, and she was just like beside herself, like, oh my gosh, how did you know I liked all this stuff? So that's what a lot of the tables at the dinner was. It, almost like the tree for the fundraising thing, where you
So is it,
somebody could pick a tree and
so is it
somebody
like
gift card.
individual for each person at the table?
Well, the 2 winners, so it would be Miss Guthrie and Miss Allison at our table would have, so basically
Right.
your gift becomes the table decoration.
Okay.
So, but and last year we did and I think Miss Davidson still has it, so I don't know if we wanna take it away from her.
The castle?
It was a castle, it was the coolest thing, I forget who made it, but so all the
Jen
gift
Hammer.
cards were in the castle, and it was really cool.
Jen Hammer made it.
And, so she still has it. So I don't
Maybe
think
she
we
would
can take
loan
away.
it out for the table decoration. She gets it
Have
back,
another one
and the
made.
people get their cards, but she gets her castle back.
Can we borrow these for the evening? So.
We can talk to Jen and see if she'll do
Maybe we
it.
need to talk to Jen.
Jen and see if she'll make another one for us, 2 more.
So that was, that's on April 12th. Is that dinner.
April 12th?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we, I think well, we have money to talk about spending, but, can we shoot for like 100 for each person? I feel like that's fine. Okay.
But do you need to take in, like, the person that last year that made that thing, like, do you need to do like another?
Take that into account.
$25 for wrapping or like pulling it together kind of thing?
I'm trying to remember if she donated or, she did. She
Did
did
she?
donate
Okay.
it. Yeah. I think she has fun doing that kind of stuff. It's like her, I've seen her craft room. It's
Yes.
like- She
Yeah.
just has fun making stuff, so we'll ask her and see if she can do maybe a couple mini ones of it.
Little baby.
Tree funding progress, or are we gonna vote on that?
I don't know what the exact, we got, I don't know, around $100 or something, $125 on it,
I thought it was just under 100.
something like that. Where is it in here? It's on my computer.
It was like 95.
Yeah, maybe, that
I
sounds
think it was
right.
like 95.
So
It
it's
was just under 100 for the tree. We need 300, I
You
believe
guys know
we're
what tree we're talking about?
just about
Out.
95 bucks.
Do you remember when the kids were in kindergarten, there was a beautiful tree outside of Mrs. Green's office?
You mean
And
the
it was
dying
nice and
palm tree?
shaded. It was
Oh.
shaded. There was like this,
Like
a
crow.
really nice tree, and it was shaded. Before that palm fell down, there was another tree there.
I don't think
And
I've ever seen another tree.
It was, I remember standing in the shade, cause I did kinder PM, and that was the, like, we had to stand on this side, and we wanted to be over there, because that's where the tree was, and this had no tree. Or this tree wasn't big enough, so we were sweaty. But there were trees there, there's a nice tree there to shade all those parents waiting at 3:30 in August, and they're miserable, so we were talking about raising the $300 to get one put in.
It's $300 for and that's half the price.
To get a big tree, right?
Yeah, to get a big one, and they'll come out and they'll dig it and bury it.
I think we had
And
a
I
lot of
guarantee
parents
it.
like stoked and ready and doing it, and then the weather cooled off, and now they're like, we're good.
Yeah.
Maybe just put the bucket out once it starts.
It's like-
raining.
But we need to have it in place.
You have to,
We
you
could
have
do
to
it
plant
for-
it in the cooler months, or
Right.
you're
Yeah.
gonna croak it fast.
If we
Yeah.
wanted to, we could plant $150 ones,
But
but
it's
it's
not
a
gonna give
smaller
shit
one, but it
in
won't.
4 years.
Yeah, it'll take 4 years for it to be anything. So,
I motion we spend what we need to spend to get a tree there, assuming we can get the drip working the way it's supposed to.
And then.
You feel like it should?
I think it's just been capped,
Okay.
because,
You think there's enough water there for that tree?
yeah.
and they said that the tree didn't require a whole lot of watering anyway, that a lot of those trees usually survive off of a lot of just the water that rainfall comes. It comes from the
Yeah,
rainfall,
they're
it's not
drought
a water.
resistant, a lot of the trees.
What kind of tree is it?
Red something?
Yeah, I have it written there.
It's not like a mesquite tree?
No.
No, it's a fluffy reddish.
It's a big fluffy tree and the leaves go red in the fall. But
Okay, so I motion we spend up to $350 for tax purposes to buy a tree out front.
I second. All in favor?
Oh, who made the motion?
Randy.
All in favor?
Aye. Alright, we're just putting a tree in.
Yay.
Okay,
I'll call 'em.
alright, just as a heads up, are we taking suggestions tonight for
Yeah.
board positions? Okay, all board positions are officially open. And we have a couple people who are running again, so Randy is running for treasurer again, and Roxanne is running for secretary. But the rest of us are not coming up, so go ahead and you can nominate people. Or if you'd like to nominate yourself, we'd love to put you on here.
Am I allowed to share, cause somebody came to me?
Yeah, great.
Sure.
We'll take it.
Okay, for president is, Pete Mueller.
He did it last year and said he didn't wanna do it, and he's the one that sent me.
That's us.
Before that.
Oh,
It was
2
a couple
years
years
ago.
ago, yeah, he did.
And then, no, that was mine. Hold on. Let me look it up.
Or should we say, Pete was the president, but Carrie did everything.
Yes. Carrie said.
And I think that's why Pete didn't continue, is because they were changing up with stuff in their household, and she said, I'm not doing it.
Christine Boyles for vice president.
you have the box out front?
In the box, and
Okay.
anybody can be nominated up until, I think, the
Next meeting.
the next meeting, and then they get sworn in.
Please ask the person before you nominate them.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens if like all of a sudden 10 parents wanna be president, then do we have to hold
Then we
elections?
vote. Yeah.
We have a vote.
And then that's
And
at the
anyone who's
May?
a paid
April.
PTO member can vote.
Okay.
Anybody who's a paid PTO member can vote.
So you're asking for votes from now until May? or
No,
you're
We're asking
we're
for
gonna get,
nominations.
Nominations.
Up until May.
Up until April
April.
7th.
And anybody
have
who
to have-
attends.
Don't you have to have 45 days before, or no, you just have to have, I don't know what our
The
bylaws
bylaws are
say.
just, in April, the nominations are set, and then
Okay.
in
And then
May is
April
the
you
election.
vote.
In April we vote,
And
and
like
May we
last
swear
year,
in.
And May swears in.
there was one person here who was a paid PTO person who voted us all in.
So, yeah, you have
that's
to-
how that works.
If there's more than one candidate per thing, then then it can't just be this kind of thing, it has to be paid PTO members voting.
Okay.
Does that mean like, cause I paid online to be, so that's.
Yes. Yeah.
And we have a
You
list of
can
all the people
vote.
who
I
are
can
that way.
vote.
Can they
So
do
you
an
can-
online voting?
That's
What
what,
would
yes,
actually matter.
that's what we'll do, is we'll have you sign in with your email address, and you can pick only one, and you get to vote only once.
One per category.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so.
So if you wanna come to Neely's PTO.
Or you
Neely's
guys,
GCA.
I don't do GCA PTO.
we can do codes.
I just
Yeah,
do
it's
the
more
clothing
board
drive.
members.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
we-
first,
So
Yeah,
if I put your
definitely
name
the more we
down.
can divide it, the more.
Mine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I will be
I'm
honest.
okay with,
Can I be sincere? When I originally did this, I was living in a house. I don't have internet like every other human being on this planet. This is my internet, and this is very hard to do, as I've done. Thank heavens Randy's as handy as she is, because I would say it's been a challenge. So,
yeah, the apartment thing doesn't help.
no.
And
I wanna
she keeps
say
going,
it's
I have that in
super
storage.
amazing, and you will learn a lot, and you will get to grow a lot, and that I feel like I may not have contributed much, but I learned a lot. So you might as well come and do it, people, because
So-
it's so worth it.
So here's the other thing is, as much as we love all the board members, what is really helpful is committee chairs.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
if
gosh.
you take on, she's still doing t-shirts, I'm not letting her not do those. So like, I don't have to worry about those, and like Dobby has done restaurant nights for us. We haven't had to spend
Or
any
clothing
time.
drive.
And clothing drive, like those things, we haven't spent
Or
any
box
of our
tops.
energy on it.
Kids
We
night.
just say,
Oh, we should probably
yeah.
coming up for another round of that.
yeah, we do box tops here.
Yeah.
But like, having those things covered, and you guys ship us a flyer, and we copy it, and we put it in boxes, and we're done. It's just, it's so nice. So having, if you don't feel like you can take on board member things, but you're like, I'm really good, or I really love this part of it.
Yeah, we like have a poster maker lady.
Yeah,
Like,
Susan Cooper's been making posters all
Heather
year for us.
McNeil for our also
Heather's been doing
queen.
that.
Yeah.
She has been amazing this year.
I have a question, just cause I just thought about it, not to get off the
Yeah.
subject. Do we have the clothing drive and any other fundraisers or anything coming up being on the marquee right now?
It should be, our new receptionist is the one that's managing that, so we just need to communicate with her. But anytime that there's stuff that's on our calendar, she's putting it up a week to two.
I was gonna say, I think she has the clothing drive.
I do too, I think I
She's-
saw it on
she's-
there.
I've instructed her to put at
It's
least
just
2 weeks in
Mondays.
advance.
Yeah, I was like, and it can be in 3 little lines,
Clothing drive, March 21st.
And the
That's
what
times,
it is.
and the times, yeah.
She's really good about that stuff.
Yeah.
She's good at getting graphics on there and all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Well, she's fancy.
And they're all swirly and,
Tech savvy.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's been having fun with it. So if you feel like you wanna help, but you don't wanna do this part, there's lots of other things to do, right? Talk to a mom about being our auction item getter all year. Just ask people for stuff. And she's like,
That'd be so
that would be amazing, right? Like, go into business, go into Target every other month. Can I
And
have a
it
gift card?
doesn't
Can
have
I
to
a
be
gift
just
card?
one
Target
mom,
won't do
she
it.
could get a group of 3 or 4 moms and say,
Yeah.
let's do this.
or
Let's
just a
rock it
sales
out."
That's what we
shopper.
do.
I would love that to see
That's
somebody
what-
just be like, I'll just shop
we used to
sales,
do.
and if I see something is on sale, let's pay you back, that would be great.
Yeah, all those things that,
But as I said, that's what we used to do, we used to go start at baseline and we'd go all the way down to there, and we'd just team up and hit
Yeah.
every single shop around.
Heidi Rush's room care mom. There's been
Yeah.
quite a few helpers
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, lots of people making it work, so, yeah. So,
Made a difference.
anyway, submit your nominations.
Yes.
Well,
You're
I wanna say
nominating
thank you
someone.
for all of you
Yes,
who've done it,
thank you.
because honestly, it's a lot of fun to work with an organized group, and it makes it where you want to share your time and volunteer, and everyone has put in so much, so, and Randy specifically, with all the
Yes.
emails and things I see you doing, I'm like, I don't want your job, cause you are like full time.
Okay,
She gets the
technically,
crown.
this is my job, this is my only real job, is
But you
produce
do
this piece of
110.
paper
She
once
does
a
so
month.
much
That's
more.
my
Web
only job.
developer.
30 hours in one
So
week
much
on
more.
website.
Well, you're like, yeah, that's what I, like
And it's
the
been
auction
nonstop.
online and things like that, I have stole some ideas from you specifically because, yeah, I just,
I
it's
have been
impressive.
on vacation and literally gotten texts from her in the middle of the night
Yeah.
and picked up the phone and just started chatting. I'm like,
What do you do?
all right, it's 2:00 in the morning, what else?
Oh, yeah, we could have a few of those.
We did.
I wake up in the morning, there was like 100 messages with you all, I wasn't sleeping, so.
I know. I've
And
been
yeah,
missing-
Oh, I
I've
have
been
more
missing
things that I
stuff.
haven't rolled out yet for productivity.
She started the, I was gonna say Facebook, that's not right, Instagram account too, right?
Yeah.
You're
We haven't
managing
posted
that
any-
on top of.
We haven't posted anything on it, other than cross-posting maybe,
Okay.
but I have to get there first. No, I have, productivity things, like, I have a sister-in-law who's in marketing, and she's like, oh, I have this text thread thing where you can mark different categories, so like, our personal stuff's intermixed with all of our, like, business stuff, and so there's a way to like, have one text thread that separates all that stuff, like, you can categorize your texts and search your texts. And then there's another, shared,
Is that
they're
an
like
app
little
or what is
cards,
that?
yeah, it's an app, and then there's also cards that you can do, like breaking up Kids Night Out into different cards, you can assign cards to different people within the network. I'm still working. This will be a full-fledged business in a few years, so.
We'll be paying her for her services.
I know, maybe can I be your assistant just to learn all this with you?
Yes.
Well, your youngest is in kindergarten, right? now?
Yes,
We got a few
this is
years.
kindergarten, we got a few years.
You're gonna be right back.
Thank you.
Well, thanks.
Thank you, Sylvie, thank you.
We said $5 off Kids Night Out, so make sure we write me.
Okay, yeah, I think you guys wrote it down, so.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Anything else you guys need us to know about? Anything you wanna share? Oh, how to spend the 15,000.
Oh.
Ideas.
Oh, I was thinking the skate line.
Oh, Skateland
It's all
is
good
all
and
set,
confirmed.
yeah.
We've got our time, 12:45.
Sweet, my kids are excited.
I forgot, did they give us flyers?
Yes.
They will, yeah.
Okay.
I
When
asked
is it?
her to give me the
Last week.
flyers,
At 12:45.
1st of March, 1st of May, and then I will bring them to you guys and have.
Are we
them.
busing our kids?
Are we allowed to use their graphic?
I'll ask her.
Okay, so put it on Facebook and put it on the.
I'm sure. Yeah, they said all kinds of marketing materials.
Okay.
They'd send us, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's best if it's a JPEG.
A JPEG? Okay.
All right, so I had
And then
one
they're offering
suggestion
food too.
for spending is
is
to
it that
finally
Saturday?
fix the playground.
Yes.
Kinder?
Kinder Playground.
Kinder playground, yeah.
No, it's
Before we
for
get
them.
in big trouble.
I know this probably is just my problem, but like, with the kindergartners are really far from a bathroom, that's probably too expensive, but like, I didn't even know one of those fancy porta potty trailers or something, cause they just have, my daughter has medical stuff, and it's just really hard. I almost didn't go to this school because of the bathroom problem. Like, she has to go a lot, and they're really far away from the kindergartners, and even though she's not gonna be in kindergarten next year, I just know if there's like something to do, or if that's just like rearranging the rooms or what, but like, little kids just coming from preschool to kindergarten, it's really hard to.
Because they're used to having a bathroom in the classroom.
Even when
And
I was
a
in
water
kindergarten, there was a
fountain.
toilet in the bathroom.
And a
Well,
you know.
but see, you know what happened, you weren't here, okay, so, all the kindergartners used to be where the second grade is.
Yeah.
And then they went through, this district went through the thing, the whole state went through the thing, where they gave every kindergarten teacher in the state a pink slip. Because they didn't know that they were gonna be able to fund kindergarten. And so they basically said, well, if we're gonna do that, we're just gonna earmark these pods out here for the kindergarten, because we don't know whether we're gonna have them anymore, so we just need to make sure the ones that we do have the good classrooms. And that's what they did. And so then you have these pods out here and, okay, who's the messiest, dirtiest, but yet needs to be kept the cleanest? And they don't have water, they don't have places to wash their hands. I'm serious, I don't mean it, I love the teachers to death, but when my oldest was in kindergarten, Ms. Warren was a teacher, and whoever was out there made sure that all the kindergartners went to the bathroom and washed their hands before they were allowed to go back into their classrooms. And what I've seen over the last few years is, we just take them back to the classroom, they use hand sanitizer maybe, they go 2 at a time to the bathroom, constantly interrupting classwork, you know, so it's like, you know, I don't think there's anything we can do though. We're kind of gridlocked, you know, unless they can put an exterior hand washing station.
We tried that, we built some.
What do you mean,
Over the summer.
built some?
We had even just little portable ones, but they don't
Yeah.
work.
And what?
And even the one that has to be
Putting
wired,
the hand sink out there?
the one that.
We can't tap into the water lines the way they're run. We can't
There
like.
has to be electrical in order to do it, and they can't get the electrical out to it. It just doesn't work. We've asked, trust me,
We've had people drop plans the
I
last couple
want
years
this.
to get it.
we fought for it.
We tried foot pump ones,
Yeah.
temporary foot pumps into a bucket and then dumping the buckets, refilling that. We've tried every version to
There's
try and do it.
actually a hand washing station that's here, or it used to be over there.
Where?
I don't know where it is now, but it used to be in the storage.
Have you seen new porta potty
Well-
companies have their portable hand washing
Yeah.
stations? Have you seen
Yeah,
those yet?
they're about
It took to the, yeah.
1,500. I've looked
To
at them.
purchase? How expensive to maintain? How much maintenance do they need?
Because it goes like a, what do you call those things that you drive, campers, you have to probably refill the water tank.
Yeah, I'm sure, it's all single.
But the question is,
System.
does it have, they have to have heater
No.
to make the water hot or
No.
warm?
You just need soap and
I
water.
don't think the
Yeah.
water's
Soap
heated
and
in
water.
that
Cold water's,
Yeah.
cold water's fine.
It's Arizona, it's warm.
Anyway.
I mean, how cold is it really?
I think the problem then becomes it becomes stagnant water that sits in there over time, and then you've gotta refill the water, and then you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
what I
get
was
the
saying, is
key in order to get the hose to
Yeah.
fill the water and take it back into the classroom.
I think there's more pressing needs at the time, but.
I mean, it.
Oh, I thought you meant you were gonna put it outside,
I was thinking
attached
outside.
to a porta potty.
But
Cause
I'm
we
not for
have the
porta potty.
issue, we
I'm
have
not for
the
porta
issue
potty.
of,
We're
you
not for the porta
know.
potty. But I don't
The
know.
one that goes outside, we had one. They had one.
A professional one?
Yeah, yeah, it was in the closet for who knows how long. Last year at least, Shane had it. I thought it was green.
Yeah.
It was
For
really
that
cool,
kid,
it was really nice. You use
But
your
it just
foot
doesn't.
to, but he couldn't get it all hooked up because it required electrical and then they couldn't get it because every time they
Okay,
wanted to
so,
turn it
okay,
on,
this
that
brings
required
up-
the key and they couldn't release the key and then there was.
So this brings up the thing about dumping everything we can into a grant. If I can get the grant things rolling, we have to have specifics, we have to be able to give them complete documentation of what the money's gonna be spent on and what we want to move forward with it. So if we want trees, if we want a water filling station,
Well, one of the things that as far as like the kindergarten situation, the district is going to do a safety assessment, and so I always bring up those portables. With them not having to remodel as much for GCA, and then, but the district has, like, the budget thing's kind of complicated, but, I continue to request that they build us a building like what they did at Patterson.
yeah.
There's no guarantee of it right now, but that's something that I keep trying to request, because then the whole plumbing thing, because this school was built in 1987. So like, even if I were to request another portable, they have to redo the line and the electrical to put a new portable out there, cause it doesn't meet code. So they can't just hook it up to something that was there before, so
Right.
they have to start from scratch. that a regular building out there.
I don't see why they can't do it, because, okay, so,
They can't,
you
it's
would
just
think
what
they would
everyone said.
prioritize doing one here than on Patterson campus, because Patterson and Neely were built by the same construction design people. It's almost an identical campus, but they're like, and we're like, with our buildings. There's like so much distance.
But it's just a matter of when they asked and when we
Yeah.
asked, and there was money when they asked, and there wasn't money when
Yeah.
we've asked.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is if, okay, so I know that there are a couple of places, you know, it's just a matter of getting the grants written and having somebody look over them and making sure that we're ready, we're dotting our, crossing our trees. That would do the trees and lumping in a water refilling station, replacing the water fountain in the cafeteria. Because there's a company that,
Oh, that does
GCA
that.
is
There's
doing
the
it.
bottles.
Yeah.
GCA is doing it already, we've allocated it
And
for
Junior's
two,
doing it.
for two of them. And basically, they have a retrofit of the bi-level drinking station with the water filling station in it, and you just basically remove that and put that in. And the thing I pushed to them was, okay, so we're saying it's $1,300 for this piece of equipment, however, we cannot dip into the school's budget for the electrical and the water, and if